Hello everyone, watch this review here with a look at the DC Universe Classics Infinite Heroes Deathstroke. Now this is the 75th anniversary packaging, which includes a pin of the character. I picked this up on clearance a while back. It's just left in box because I didn't have anything in this packaging, and honestly the 75th packaging looks pretty cool for this line. I found him like the very bottom of like a clearance bin or something, so that's why the packaging is all messed up. But yeah, very nice box art. Hold on a second till I get him out of pack. Two more quick packaging things I want to point out. The back of the card here, you'll notice, is the same as the mailer for the Starro box set. And also the fact that the plastic has this perforation here, so it's designed to separate. So it looks like Mattel was actually designing the packaging so you could save the card. Of course, it doesn't work quite as well as one would hope. As mentioned, Deathstroke comes with a pin featuring the character unmasked, but nothing in the way of accessories, which also is something that's always bothered me about the Infinite Heroes line, where they just don't include anything, especially in the case of a character like Deathstroke, who's known to use both guns and swords, for him not to have either a gun or a sword. Yeah, just something kind of wrong with that. But as you can see, he does have a gun in the holster here, but it's not removable. He also has a knife here, but again, just sculpted. So that is a pretty major disappointment. By the way, Deathstroke was probably the character I was most thinking of picking up from the recent waves. So it was pretty fortunate that I did find him on clearance, even if this one does have a mild defect, which you'll notice on the eye here, and then also the wrist is kind of bent in, but I think that's just a production flaw across the whole line. Now, whereas this character doesn't come with any accessories, I do have a sword from the Avatar Katara, so let's just try to pop that in there. So yeah, so now Deathstroke has a sword. Frankly, he needs it a lot more than Waterbender would anyway. Only downside is it just doesn't look like a great fit and stuff, just from the way that the wrist is facing. But both hands are, well, this hand is made of a softer plastic, so it is bendable to fit in various weapons that you might have from other series, which do see fit to include accessories. Other than that, we have a little paintwork detail for the sort of scales and the whole chain mesh that he wears, and also on this side it's just kind of weird the way they did it, because it's designed more as like a stylistic thing rather than an all across for like a functional. So it's more like you'd see as an artwork in, I don't know, maybe say a cartoon than a comic, or I guess live action TV. Just a kind of funky design choice. By contrast, here we have the DC Universe Classics Deathstroke, and you'll notice that they did carve in the actual little meshing or whatever, and it's got a high level of detail. Now, while we're on the subject, before I forget, just take a look and see if you notice anything. Seen it yet? If you look at the artwork here, this is not the outfit that the figure is wearing. This is the sort of standard look for the character that the DC Universe Classic adopted for, but I'm not sure what's going on with this look for him, because I guess it might be another costume that I'm not familiar with. They did the same thing with Ravager, where even on the packaging they depicted one outfit and then the actual figure had a completely different outfit. I'm really not sure what the logic is behind that, or maybe they just decided if they're going to go the cheaper route and not sculpt in the little scales or whatever on the outfit, they would do a different color and then paint in just to give it an extra pop. as opposed to using a darker blue here than a lighter blue, and then just trying to fit stuff in. But again, it might just be another outfit entirely, although in those cases you just kind of have to wonder why they didn't toss that outfit in the box. Now, the other thing is you don't really have much paint detailing on these figures. I mean, it's kind of a downside too, especially where these things are priced comparable, or in some cases more than the Marvel Universe line, but I mean, they don't seem to bring as much value. However, they have improved pretty drastically. If you even look at some of these, you'll see hinged parts for everything. This is the sort of new body where it's got a lot of ball and sockets and stuff, and, ball joints. So, I mean, the line definitely has improved a considerable amount. A quick run through of articulation before I forget. We have a point of rotation here at the wrist, ball and socket here at the elbow, ball jointed shoulder, head rotates. It feels like it's got some up and down, but it's kind of impeded here. We have a waist joint. They don't do torso joints on this for some reason. If you look at it, it does look like the character has a torso joint, but it's just sort of painted that way and even sculpted somewhat. Then down here at the hip, we have a ball joint with a point of rotation at the upper thigh. Then a ball and socket here at the knee. So you can get some really crazy poses. It's kind of the downside of that stuff. And then, again, another ball and socket here at the ankle. So, although this figure definitely leaves some things to be desired, it's actually a pretty decent representation of Deathstroke for this scale. Well, I guess as good as we'll probably ever get. Speaking of scale, by the way, let's just bring in some other stuff. Here's the classic armor Iron Man from the Marvel Universe line, kind of a standard height. As you can see, this is more of a 4-inch versus the 3 3/4 inches in this, which means he scales more with, some of the Star Wars figures, and I guess to some extent also the G.I. Joes, which are kind of halfway in between the Marvel Universes at times, and although in this case he's actually a bit taller. And these smaller scaled figures. So I mean, definitely in scale with anything else you might have, although, just a bit smaller. Also, he does have both flaps here for the mask. It's just this one. Crap. Yeah, just be really careful when you move this, because I think I just broke the thing, but sculpted out in an angle. Also, the ammo belt, as far as I'm aware, is not removable. It seems to be glued onto his shoulder. But you can actually move it around. It's a flexible plastic. So yeah, this has been a look at the DC Infinite Heroes Deathstroke. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a spectacular figure, but, it's still a pretty decent one. I mean, the one downside is, again, it doesn't really come with accessories, and the few things kind of end up looking cheap, like the knife here, and yeah. So until next time, folks.